Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about microwaves. Microwaves, for those that do scrapping, are very good. They're very good because they have a lot of copper in them. On the heavy side of a microwave, which is always on this side, that's where its components are. Now, there are what is called transformers, and the transformer is the heaviest part. Transformer is the part that has copper. Microwaves are a very good source of copper because it has a lot of it. But then there are other parts in here which are dangerous, and there's a part called the magnetron which has radioactive components that you have to watch out for, and you have to be very careful when taking these apart, and you have to make sure that you don't break a magnetron. But apart from that, the other part that we do want from these is the transformer itself, which is the heaviest part, because this is steel casing and it has copper inside. So anyway, I'm going to take these apart, but just before I get to that, I'll show you. These are old microwaves. These are old appliances that people no longer want, and then what they end up doing is they just leave it on the side of the road. They do what is called fly tipping, which is it's a criminal offense in this country, and if you're caught doing it, you're looking at a heavy fine. And depending on how much fly tipping it's done, it can be as bad as even losing your vehicle that you've done it with. So never do that. If you ever want to get rid of these, take it to a proper site. Take it to a scrap yard or something like that and get rid of them. Please don't do fly tipping. But yeah, I got these off this street where I live. I don't know who put them on the side of the road, but they were there, so I took them because there's copper in here that I want to extract. So anyway, I'll take these apart and then I'll show you the parts. So here it is. So I've taken out the parts that I wanted to get. So as you can see, so this is primarily what I'm coming for. This is what is called a transformer, and this is a steel casing that has copper in the middle. So all I'm gonna have to do is, with a grinder, I have to cut this copper from here, and then what I'll do is I will, with a hammer and a chisel, I will be pushing it down and it comes out the other side. This is what I want, the copper. As for the rest, because it is steel, I cannot melt it, so it goes to a scrap yard. Whoever's doing any scrapping is coming primarily for these. This is what we want, and this is why on the microwaves, the heavier side is where this part is. So this is what we want primarily. And then there is this part. This part here is dangerous because it is harmful. This is called the magnetron. And the reason why this is harmful is because this rod here that goes into this casing, in this area here, there's this ceramic. Inside of that ceramic casing, there is a radioactive component called beryllium. Sometimes it has beryllium, some other times it has another one called thorium. and they are radioactive. I don't know if the camera can pick this up. Trying to get it to focus. It says here microwave radiation, and it is because of this component that it's here on this ceramic casing in here. So I'll leave it as it is. This is very dangerous. You do not want to mess with this. This is another reason why I don't really like microwaves, because of all of the health hazards. So these are the two parts that I got out of this one, and these are the other two parts that I got out of this one here. And as you can see, they're pretty much the same. It's the same as, and I think, however, that this one here is older. It's an older model, but as you can see, it's the same thing. Same transformer. Looks exactly the same as that one there, and it has copper inside of the steel casing, which I will also be cutting. Whichever side, it doesn't really matter. I'll be cutting this side, and then with a hammer and a chisel push the rest down, and it will come out the other side. And then there's also this part, which is pretty much like that one. As you can see, there's that ceramic bit, and inside there's that radioactive component. And this is essential for any microwave to work, otherwise it wouldn't work. And the label, it's not really that clear, it's faded out, but it's pretty much, it says pretty much the same thing as that one there. So you do not want to be messing with these ones, with these parts. You don't want to mess with this. You want to leave it as it is, or you could just leave it in the microwave. You can't really get anything out of this anyway, not unless you want the magnets, because these are very strong magnets. But if not, just leave them as they are. You don't want to risk breaking this ceramic casing, and you don't want the beryllium or the thorium to go airborne, because once it goes airborne, if you breathe it in, some people say that it is instant cancer, or it can give you pneumonia. It depends on how your body will react to it. And it might not give you any problems now, but again, depending on how your body will react, it can be 10 months from now, or it can be 10 years from now. It doesn't really matter. You don't want to be messing with that. Leave it as it is. So for those of you, whoever watches this video, if you're thinking about doing some scrapping, because the main goal is to get precious metals out of this, and this is a home appliance that has a lot of copper, so it's a good source of copper, but it is also dangerous because it has radioactive materials. Small quantities, but it can still harm you. And so you have to bear that in mind. When it comes to microwaves, you have to be very, very careful how you handle these. And then once, it's basically pretty much this part that you're looking for. So once it's out, you pretty much can scrap the whole thing to a scrapyard. Scrapyards buy them because it's just scrap. It's no longer useful for anything, so they buy it. And then there's the steel casing. Everything is pretty much steel. And then you have some wires and everything else. You can separate them. These wires are all copper, by the way. But as you can see, they're just small wires. Me personally, I wouldn't go through the trouble of separating them from the rest of the machine itself. So I just leave it as it is and take it to a scrapyard as it is now. But as for the copper itself, that's how I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to cut it and take it out. And then the casing, because it's steel, goes to a scrapyard. So this is pretty much the part that you have to watch out for. They say that it is safe to touch it with your bare hands, but I'm not going to take any chances. I'm wearing gloves now, as you can see. So you have to be mindful of that. Whenever you are extracting precious metals like copper from these appliances, you have to be mindful of this. Now this is it for microwaves, and then for fridges, for example, the motor in the back of the fridge, inside of it has copper, but before you can extract it, you have to disconnect the cables. And fridges, they have a gas called ammonium, which you don't want to be breathing in. It can give you some serious health problems if you breathe too much ammonium. So you have to disconnect it properly, and then take the motor and then crack it open and take the copper inside. So this is pretty much it. I'll be cutting this copper loose, taking it out, and then melt it. That's why I'm taking it out for. And then the same thing for that one there. As for the rest of it, I'll be scrapping everything. So that's pretty much it for this video. Just to show you to be careful, to be mindful of this particular part. And it has beryllium inside. In most cases it is beryllium, and beryllium is radioactive. It's toxic. It's a sort of radioactive metal. So this is it for this video. Leave a like if you wish. Leave some of your comments, your thoughts. It'd be very much appreciated. Everybody, thank you for watching.